Hey, preying on predators, I got something for you. Hunting down south in the land of the pines, making them sets round North Carolina, staring up the fields, praying I see coyotes. Hunting down the coast for 17 hours, wearing ourselves out with tournament hours. I'm hoping for a triple to kill a pile tonight. So call me a cow with a little beat. Call me a cow in the OPC. Hey, Foxborough, call me.
Hey guys, Preying on Predators, Chance here. We've got Timmy, and our guest tonight is Nate Bailey, aka the Loaded Gunny. Nate got up with him. He was helping Timmy out with something, and Timmy knew I was switching to 6 ARC, put us in contact. Nate helped me develop a load. Recently got into predator hunting himself. We took him out the other night, got him his first coyote. He's done some other hunting in West Virginia. And didn't you go out west? You go to Alaska?
Yeah, I went to Alaska for bear season.
Yeah.
Didn't tag out there, but
Hey, it's still
it
an
happens.
experience.
That's why they call it hunting, not killing, right?
That's right. Exactly. So, Nate, if you would just give us a little bit about your background. I know you're a Marine vet, retired. If you want to go in that, and then we'll just get started from there.
Cool. Nathan Bailey. I did 20 years in the Marine Corps, infantry the whole time. When I was stationed out in Bridgeport, California, I had a guy. He was in the same unit training section as me. He was on the Marine Corps shooting team and had the whole reloading setup. And I shot a lot when I was out there because you could just roll up to BLM land and unload your trunk and start shooting. So he
America.
Yeah, right. Came over to his house, man. He had single stage press and a Dillon 650 and everything. So he kind of taught me there, and then I've just carried it with me from now on. Figured when I was retiring, I might as well start a business, man. There's a lot of people that do it, but there's not a lot of places that stock it or can talk intelligently about it. So
that's right.
I figured might as well be that guy.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, I know nothing about what you guys are gonna talk. I know Chance does some reloading.
Yeah.
I depend on you two. So I'm just gonna kind of nod and agree with you guys today. So
Yeah, I got into reloading here not too long ago. Nate really helped me out with it, got me set up. I picked his brain. I have a buddy, Chad, who did a lot of it. Another buddy, another Nate, did a lot of hand loading, got me into it, and giving me a base understanding of it. But everyone before, it was like, hey, we're going to get into reloading because I'm going to save money. I'm shooting a lot, I'm going to save money. But that's really not the case that I've come to find out.
Yeah.
So what are some of the benefits of going from shooting factory ammo to shooting hand loads?
Well, I mean, the biggest advantage, and jokingly, like everybody says, oh, I'm going to save money by doing it. Nah, I'm like 9 presses in now, and, umpteen guns and everything. So but the benefits, you can go out, your 6 ARC prime example, man, all they offered were the 105s, 103s, and 108s. So if you want anything lighter, if you want to turn a coyote inside out, man, you kind of got a hand load for it. And that's kind of what started us down that path. But you can really, you can get different offerings that aren't commercially available. And another positive too is you can really, if you get all the tools, you can really start wringing out all of the accuracy with it when you start, just bumping shoulders, because you're really forming that cartridge to the chamber, unless you got an awesome gun that was made by a great gunsmith, with a really tight chamber. Every brass is going to grow whenever you fire it. So if you're working it real hard, resizing and everything, it's going to reduce accuracy, but you can also, get more case fill, a little bit more speed. You can seat your bullet longer. Some bullets prefer jump, some don't. So
yeah, the thing is with all these rifles, you go and buy a factory rifle. Think about it, it's mass produced.
Yep.
Unless you're going to a custom gunsmith or someone who deals in very small amount of arms. Sergeant Arms, Eric Lee, they don't mass produce their stuff. I believe he outsources a lot of stuff, but he's buying quality products from small producers. It's not Remington, it's not Winchester, it's not Savage, where they have these machines. They get the barrel blanks they get these reamers and then they ream these cartridges. So just like when you're flaying a fish or you're gutting a deer, processing a deer, and you get that knife and it's sharp as hell, you're able to cut and do all the stuff nice and smooth. As that knife dulls, the cuts get ragged, the meat gets ragged, you're more apt to hurt yourself. So these reamers are going to ream out that barrel, they're going to get dull as well. Time is money for these companies, so how often are they having to replace these reamers, sharpen these reamers? So they're pushing out as much as they can before they're having to switch these components. And then when you get to the factory or the ammo, they're doing the same thing. They got to load a projectile and a bullet that's going to perform in a multitude of different weapons. How many different weapons, how many 308s are out there, how many 6.5 Creedmoors are out there. So they have to load a weapon or a round, a bullet that is going to perform in any weapon. So, by doing the custom ammo, hand-loaded ammo, a gun, you're really making that bullet and that barrel fit each other to make it like a fingerprint. It's going to be unique. Every barrel is going to be a little different. You buy two guns at the same time, same manufacturer, they may or may not have the same reamer coming through there. So, one gun likes 165 grain, the other one likes the 150 grain, just depending on the tolerances of that bullet. So for me, the interest of getting into reloading was squeezing the amount of accuracy out. And I'm fastest miss of the Marine Corps. I'm minute of man. I'm combat effective.
Yep.
That's what I like to say. But I'm not shooting one hole groups. I'm a sub MOA shooter. If I'm shooting 3/4 of an inch, I'm satisfied with it. I'm not looking for those 1/4 inch groups. I know some guys who are, just not me.
For what we do,
Yeah.
that's plenty. Now your PSR guys, they're looking for that 1/4 inch. I mean,
Yep.
that's what wins for them.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, and it's just maybe an opinion, and I've heard this from people. You could buy, like I buy 10 boxes at a time of my 6.5 Creedmoor, right? Now I go back 6 months from now, and I'm dialed in, and that now it's a different lot. Or do you see any of that maybe changing with that different lot? Because I'm dialed in with this lot of maybe ammo.
So that is something I have encountered over. Like I noticed it a lot with 6.5 Creedmoor. I was shooting a ton of factory ammo when I was breaking in the barrel for it.
Okay.
Before I started hand loading, and even Hornady from lot to lot. Your headspace changes on
Right.
one lot. You get faster velocities. One thing I noticed, and it's something that I kind of really like, is on factory ammo, if you take a set of calipers,
Right.
the overall lengths on them are everywhere, man.
Okay.
And that really is because you're talking about how much jump you've got to the lands before it starts getting imprinted and turning.
Right.
So if you're moving that point back or forth, it's not going to be consistent, And that's one thing too, is by producing your own, even if you sit down and do, 100 at a time, 200 at a time, if you check all of it, everything stays set up. You kind of eliminate. You're kind of like the in between,
Yeah.
Whereas Hornady, they've got machines that are rolling all this stuff
Well, they
off
got
the line.
to. I mean,
Yeah.
they're mass producing.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't tell you how many rounds they make a day.
I'm sure it's some
It's
ungodly
some-
amount.
Yeah, they got
but-
to. I mean, but so what you're saying is hand loading, you get the fingerprint.
Yeah.
You're getting the exact fingerprint. I mean,
Every
if you do
single
it
time.
correctly, of
Yeah.
course. You're getting, head spacing, grain with
Yeah,
how much
powder
powder's
charge.
going in it.
Your seating depth on your bullet, man, that honestly, the consistency with that is probably one of the most important things when you're talking about group size and things like that.
Now, do you do any loads for PSR guys that are doing any PSR shooting? Is it-
I do it for a couple people.
Okay.
I got 3 guys that I do it for. I'm actually going to start doing the Coastal Outlaws out at Alliance
Stumpy?
next
Alliance.
year. Yeah.
Okay.
So I had Lee build me a match gun, but
Okay.
I figured, hand load for it.
Yeah.
It's a 6 mil Creedmoor.
But now the PSR guys, they're all running at some level,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
all hand loads.
Yep, most
Yeah.
of them are. I mean, and a lot of the hardcore guys, they're running very specialized cartridges for that. You've got like 6 BRA,
6-dasher.
6-dasher,
6 GT.
Yeah, I got a buddy that shoots the 6 GT, the gay tiger as we like to call them.
It's a new round. 6 mil is like the new hotness for precision PRS. the precision rifle series or shooting, whatever. But now they have the 6 Max, which is supposed to be everything the 6 Arc was meant to do and some.
Yeah.
You know, and it's everything's out of a 223. There's no same bolt face, everything else, which I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I don't know much about it. You know, I just saw a couple of YouTube videos about it. But the 6 Max is supposed to be the best.
What's your opinion now? I mean, you're in this industry. 6.5, 6.8, 6 Creed, these 6 GTs. What is the big is there any big major difference, or just is it cartridge size, or?
So a lot of the 6 Arc, the 6 GT, they're all really, really short cartridges.
Yeah.
You know, and that lower case fill gives you faster velocities when you load them with more, you know, almost overloading them, compressing the load and everything. The downside is you don't really get a lot of commercially produced stuff with that, so you're kind of forced to, you know. A lot of guys are shooting like the 6 Creed. Hornady offers 6 Creed, Nosler, Berger. They all offer some type of firing, but if you're doing one of those kind of, I won't call them niche cartridges, but you know, one of those oddballs, you kind of have to.
Yeah, for the PSR and all those 6 level guns.
Yep.
What are they shooting yardage wise to keep that 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch group? 1,000? I mean.
Yeah, I mean the majority of them are going to be 1,000 and in.
Okay.
And that's the big thing is when you talk about the 6s. The 25s, the 6s, 6.5s, even 7s now, man, they're making some great bullets for 7s, but they got fantastic ballistic coefficients on them. So they're, you know, less induced by drag as they're going the further out they are. So that's really the big benefit of them. That's why the 7 PRC that they just came out with.
It sounds like a real marketing scheme.
Yeah,
Hornady's
is
and
good.
9s at some point.
Yeah, Hornady's got the market corner. They got some great balloticians and some, you know, reloaders, chemists, engineers out there. You listen to their podcasts. Guys, if you want to get in depth and go way down the rabbit hole, listen to the Hornady podcast. I mean, those guys are geniuses when they come to this stuff. But yeah, they're taking it and they're finding it, because before, you know, no one was shooting over 200 yards to hunt, and now long range hunting was 400 yards.
Yeah.
Now long range hunting is 600 yards. Extreme long range is 800, 1,000, and there's people who are doing it. So there's a market for it. Hornady and other manufacturers have identified.
Well, that's probably
it.
out west.
Out west.
Canyons and stuff like that.
I mean, you know, how many times have you hear these stories or watch a YouTube or Sportsman's Channel or something, the guy shooting across a mountain to you know, at a bear or an elk or something.
Ridge to ridge.
Yeah, you're paying $10,000, $20,000. You know, for some people, that's a lifetime hunt. That's a one time that they're going to go. Yeah. And it sucks to eat tag soup. You know, I paid a couple of guys. I paid a couple of guys a couple $100 to go out and kill something and didn't kill anything. You know, it still sucks. You know, but you start getting up to that $20,000, $30,000. Shit, I mean, hell, my salary is like $4,000 a month. So I'm going to spend a year's salary on this one-time hunt. I damn sure I want a trophy or something to bring back. So if that elk at 600 yards. And I've got the right equipment for it, the right rifle, the right scope, the right bullet, and I do what I'm supposed to do, the practicing in whatever position I'm supposed to do, or that I could be in to be able to be successful. That's what a lot of people don't do. Is I listen to some of these podcasts or talk to guides. You know, they're out of shape. They can't get up and down a mountain. They don't understand that. Hey, we're going to walk 15 miles today, and it's not walking on a treadmill 15 miles. It's not walking around, you know, your yard or the neighborhood. It's up and down a mountain 15 miles. And then you're going to have to, you know, your adrenaline spiked, you're worn out. Now you have to make a 500-yard shot, or hell, even 400-yard shot. And then you got to, you know, you're not shooting off a bench.
Nope.
Anyone can go and get the rifle set up at a range and shoot a target at 100, 200 yards and be sub-MOA shooting off a bench or lead sled or whatever. No, get out there and practice, train like you fight. Get out there, shoot off different stuff. You're going to use bipod, use a bipod. You're going to shoot prone, shoot prone. You're going to use your pack, use your pack. Because all that stuff's going to change your point of aim, your point of impact on how you're mounting that weapon.
Yeah.
You know, That's a big thing.
My best friend, he lives out in Idaho, man. He's a huge backcountry hunter. You know, he's got friends out there, and that's what they do is they'll fly in or they'll park at a trailhead and go 15, 20 miles in and set up camp and then go 15, 20 miles further in. And he swears by, like, the guys that do the PRS matches and stuff like that, just being real comfortable with being awkward positions and things like that, you know, because you're
on a ridge, you ain't gonna get level.
Exactly. So you never know what type of shot you got to make, and nobody wants to wound an animal.
No.
I mean, let's face it. Like that's probably one of the worst things is when we were in Alaska, the guy who had the tag, he wounded a bear, man. We looked for 2 days straight, you know, and never found it. So it's one of those things. Nobody wants to come home with a tag that's not punched, you know.
That's right. So it's like, something else if you took a shot at an animal, wounded it, and didn't recover it.
Yeah.
That I think to me that would be even worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, our buddy hiding out there, he's, you know, grew up backcountry hunting the whole nine. So like, he used that as a learning point to take back to his kids about, you know, ethical kills and comfortable with making shots and things like that. So I mean, he took a bad situation, turned it into a good situation, but it's still, at the end of the day, kind of sucks.
Do you do any barrel work? Like, do you break in barrels? Any opinion on that?
I mean,
with new guns,
I usually do it. I don't know. Some barrel manufacturers will say you need to do it. Others won't. I always get at least one box of factory ammo. Okay. I'll shoot one, you know, run a patch through it with oil or with the cleaner, and then let it set, run it back through. But I'll do that for 5 shots. Okay. And then I'll do 5 shots and then clean, and then the rest, the 10 shots, and that's a whole box of ammo. So, you know, some barrel manufacturers, Krieger will say, you know, do it 1 shot and clean for 20 shots. I don't know, man. Whenever whenever you send a round down there, whatever imperfections are going to be in there, are kind of going to get a little bit lapped out of there. So it's not.
Now what? And then just for me, there's just like something in the lands and grooves. It's cleaning that out.
Yeah.
Is that why they?
Well, I mean,
do that?
Like he was talking about with the machining and the reamers and everything. You know, even as they're punching a bore in a barrel, you know, whether it's cold hammer forged or the other one where they pull it through and spin it. I can't think of the name of it, but
I don't know all the manufacturing.
You know,
techniques.
sometimes you'll get chatter with the lathe and everything, so it'll have little machining marks in it, and all those first rounds do is just kind of smooth everything.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you do recommend doing at least some type of break?
Yeah, some type. You know, you don't need to shoot 100 rounds cleaning after every round, but at least a couple will ensure that, you know, your first cold bore shot's going to be pretty close to where you're going, and follow-up shots will be. You'll keep a tighter group than you would, you know, just a rough barrel.
Yeah, I've never thought about barrel break-in. I'd buy a box of ammo, you know, growing up, hey, you buy a new rifle. My dad said, hey, get a box of ammo, shoot it, get familiar with it, learn it, you know, and then sight it in, and you're good to go. You know, and stick with that box of ammo or that brand, you know, ammo. You don't have to worry about adjusting your zero. When I built that 6 ARC, I got that Excalibur barrel. And I asked you, hey, what's the break-in process for this? Nothing on Excalibur's website that I found. I may have missed it.
Yeah.
It's about a break-in, and so I had some factory ammo. I shot 5 rounds, ran a patch through it, you know, and hell, the first 5 rounds grouped. I mean, they were sub MOA, like 3/4. I think they were almost 1/2 inch. Like, it was a damn good group for a brand new barrel right out of the bat. I was highly impressed with it. The next new gun I bought, I kind of do the same thing. A box of ammo through it, you know, factory ammo, just to foul it up.
Yep.
And then go from there. I like my guns a little dirty. You know.
I mean, a little bit of copper fouling and a little bit of carbon, man. It's honestly not. You'll talk to the guys that are big competitive shooters, man, and they won't. They'll go out and they'll do, you know, a couple fouling shots, and then they'll run their gun until they start to lose accuracy, and then they'll clean it.
Now you're talking PSR guys.
I mean, yeah, a lot of those guys, but I know hunters that do it, man. You know, it's like.
Well, that was going to be a question, like your PSR guys, and again, I'm not at all in that arena. I was going to want, after they do a relay, do they change, you know, clean their guns, or do they?
Oh man, most of the time
they just keep going till it starts.
They just let them cool, and you know, and you'll tell if you know all day long that you've got a, you know, 1/2 inch gun at 100, 200 yards or whatever it is, and now you're shooting, and it's opened up to 2.5, and it's like, hey, let me clean the bore real quick, and usually that'll clean it up, man. It's unless it's like we were joking about the 17 rounds per barrel, you know. Unless it's one of those barrel burners, you won't, and you're coming towards the tail end of that, you're really not gonna.
Because I mean, my 6.5, and we were having some feeding issues. Of course, I think some of it was with the can on it. We were having some gas issues. But that gun runs good, and in the beginning I was cleaning it a lot.
Yeah.
After I shot here on the range, or we hunted a couple times. But hell, I really ain't ran nothing through it in a while, and it holds pretty well. I just maybe, how often should somebody clean their gun? You think?
I mean, really, that kind of depends on how often you shoot it. If you shoot suppressed really with the backflow and everything, it does make it really dirty. So, if you're just shooting a standard muzzle crown, or you got a muzzle brake on, you get a couple more out of it. But I usually, if I'm sitting down and I'm thinking about it, usually around 100 to 150, I try and clean the bore and everything real good. Then, like we were talking too, I never really noticed it as much, but I seem to encounter it here more lately. Is like getting a carbon ring, especially when shooting suppressed, and that can really jam everything up. So if you go in and clean that out of there, every 100, 150, 200, you ought to be pretty good,
So for our guys who don't know, a carbon ring is going to be build up of carbon within the barrel, and when your bullet gets chambered into the barrel, it's in their chamber before it gets to that free bore area in the throat. That carbon will build up there, and then it's just added material. So you have, like say it's 5/1000th of an inch tolerance, and now you have a carbon ring that's down, and now it's down to 2/1000th of an inch, so it's really thick in there. So you're creating pressure, which can be dangerous, and you can have a catastrophic failure for it. And then if you go like me, I had a carbon ring because I don't like cleaning weapons. I fucking hate cleaning weapons, especially suppressed.
Yeah.
Round had a light primer strike, it didn't go off. Went to eject the round. Projectile stayed in the barrel because it was stuck in the carbon ring. Brass ejected and threw gunpowder everywhere, and that sucks.
And that's one of the things too, man, is when you are hand loading or even factory ammo, they're only neck sizing it down maybe 3/1000ths or so. So you got that force of really being jammed in there, and then you're taking a bolt and using a little bit of mechanical advantage to pull it out. It's going to yank it out of there, and you get powder everywhere. You're a little pissed off. You got to impromptu cleaning session. I'm like you, man. I hate cleaning guns.
Yeah.
So
and especially grunt background. We're all Marines here, so what do we get told? A dirty gun is you get taken out behind the fucking armor.
Yeah, right.
You had a clean weapon, no piece of carbon whatsoever. But now hearing 3 Marines saying don't clean your weapon, that's kind of sacrilegious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the carbon ring, just going back to that, once that starts building up, that's gonna affect loading it, which if it's not properly seated all the way into the chamber, and you do get a shot off, it's in there just enough to get the primer strike.
Yeah,
that's gonna throw off your accuracy too.
Yeah, it will, because you're increasing pressure because you're inducing more resistance into it to get it started. So I mean, it won't blow a gun up or anything like that, but you'll know, like you'll be like, well, that one had a little spice to it.
To be honest with you, I've had some hand loads, and I'll tell a story. Somebody made me some hand loads, not Nate, and they were built to Winchester specs, and when I heard, my wife was on that gun for deer season, and I dropped it on the scope, and I said, well, let me check it before I let her take it back out that afternoon. Well, the first round sounded like a squib load. I'm like, that was weird. Second one, it exploded in the barrel. It blew the bottom of the magazine. I had my pinky under the bottom of the magazine. I thought it blew my pinky off. The entire thing blew up. Now I'm suppressed, but I felt all the pressure in my face.
Yeah.
And I threw the gun down on the bench, and my dad's like, he was downrange marking me, and I'm screaming because I thought I just blew my finger off. Well, come to find out, what it did is, I think me and you talked about this. Well, Sergeant Major Ryan was over here, and I was telling him about it. He's kind of into a little bit of reloading. He said, well, let me try my gun. And it literally locked the gun up. I couldn't eject it. I had to take it over to Gorilla, and they had to force it out. And Ryan's like, let me try it. And I was like, oh, don't put a magazine in there. So he just fed it one time, exact same thing. Blew his bolt up, and it locked his gun up. So the guy that built it, good intentions.
Yeah.
Don't know, was it, I think me and you even talked about this before.
Double
was it like
charge
a
or something.
hot load, or was it hot primers, or
Could-
you know,
could
if
have
you want
been,
to cover
man.
some of that, if you're mixing the wrong primer with wrong load, I mean,
Yeah.
can that cause that?
It can, yeah. So for anybody that's looking to get into it, man, the biggest thing you got to do is get a book.
Right.
You know,
Well, you're over here. When you're over here, you got your book out. And
I come with everything,
Yeah.
man. You know, I did download the app. It hurt me because I already spent what $50 on the book,
On
and then
the
it's
book.
another $20 for the app. Like, damn you, Hornady. But no, you know, picking up a book, and it's cool because most of the manuals and Hornady and Sierra have some of the best manuals that I've used. Burger's really good, but Burger has very limited data in their manuals.
It's just Burger's bullets, right?
Yeah, it's just Burger's bullets, and they're, you know, where Hornady lists, you know, 15, 20 powders for one bullet
Right.
combination, you know, Burger's got like 4. So it's like, well, what if I can't, especially the last 3 years when everything was hard to get, you know, it's like, well, what if I can't get the, you know, H1000, you know, that's the cream of the crop.
Well, what I was trying to see is powder versus primer. Can that make that, if you do the wrong primer for a certain grain on a
Like
amount
doing a
of,
Magnum primer on,
Yeah.
doing a small Magnum rifle primer in a 6 arc where I'm already running, you know, say close to max load, you know, wouldn't that, the primer's going to be higher, you know, and cause more pressure. You run in a gas gun, you get 52,000 psi. I've got a carbon ring,
Yeah.
so now I'm building up of even more pressure. So
You could, and I always tell everybody, you know, when your big Magnum cases, 270, you know, 30-06 and bigger, they need Magnum primers just for the simple fact that they burned a little bit hotter and a little bit longer than your
Okay.
standard ones do. So
ignite that whole powder charge.
yeah, so and especially, you know, I got a Winchester 300 Win Mag that's 83 grains of powder.
Holy
so
shit.
yeah, so you got to really, if you want all that to burn, you got to make sure that you get a good light on it, you know. But it could, depending on the cartridge and everything, it could have some type of pressure issue, you know.
I'm just saying for the people that don't know, that maybe getting into reloading,
Yeah.
they need to do the research of,
Yes.
just don't buy, okay, these primer are 223 primers,
Yep.
and not know, is it going to be conducive to the powder that you're going to load? It can be dangerous.
It
is what
can,
I'm-
it
I
can,
you know, I
yeah.
don't want, you know, just
And that too is you know, in the manuals they'll talk about, it'll have, you know, breakdown of the cartridge, and it'll tell you the dimensions and everything, and tell you the test barrel and what type of primer to use and everything like that.
so
And
they
then
need to take consideration of barrel length, barrel twist, all that when they're looking at loads, or
not necessarily the length of the twist, but most of the time the test barrels you get are going to be, you know, from in test conditions. Hornady literally has an indoor
Oh, yeah.
100-yard range that's, you know, there's no humidity, there's
Right.
no anything in there. So their data that they get that's on your box of, you know, 95 grain SSTs or VMAXs, it's going to say, you know,
1.6.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Your side of it too is 1.6 high at
yeah,
one.
but it'll tell you, you know, 3,100 feet per second,
That's
right?
right.
Well, you shoot it. Well,
Yeah,
we shot it over the chronograph and weren't getting,
3280s.
yeah, 3280.
pushing-
So
Yeah, but you got to take in all those considerations. You know, there's you get in reloading, you'll hear powder temp stable, you know, temperature stability, temp stable, stuff like that, and all that stuff's going to factor into it. Heat. You know, when was that box made? Nebraska gets really fucking cold. You know, and then they're shooting it inside. I don't know if it's underground, outside, if it's just a shed. However, they're, you know, it's Hornady, so they probably got a pretty nice setup, right?
I would
probably
imagine
72 degrees in there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So they're shooting it in there, and that's the information they're getting. But
Correct.
you know, you get a box of ammo, factory ammo. They get set in a warehouse. You know, whatever time of the year for X amount of months. Well, maybe not now because everything ships. But comes over here, sits in the store. You get it. It comes out here, sits inside. You know, your garage, your wherever. The temperature's fluctuating, and if you sight in you know, and it's 70 degrees outside, clear and sunny, and then you go and the next time you're shooting and it's 100 degrees, or if it's 40 degrees outside and cold, all those external factors are going to have going to affect the powder and the primer and the performance of that bullet. So you've got to know what to do. You know, train like you fight. Know if I'm going to go hunt and it's 40 degrees and I know I sighted my weapon in at 100 degrees, 100% humidity, I'm going to go do a cold bore shot.
Yeah.
I'm going, you know, and I may have to adjust my zero for that if I'm going to be hunting in that temperature range.
And that's one thing too, is a lot of so I've been using a lot of the stay ball from Winchester, and it's a really, like, I've been impressed with. They've got 6.5
and
match and HD for like your big magnums, and those are some of the most temp insensitive that I've ran into, you know, aside from some of the higher end like Hodgdon powders, you know, the Vargets and the, you know, some of those that are
less affected by weather.
Okay. So it's their extreme line is what it's called. So they're a lot better with temp stability than some of the older ones, you know, like H335 is a great powder.
I never thought about temperature difference, storage, you know, and I'm sure a lot of listeners same way. What about now? You've been doing this for quite some time, and a lot of people got into reloading because of COVID.
Yeah.
Because everything went off even I did. I mean, I didn't get into reloading, but I couldn't. I was down to, I think I told you before, you know, I was running VMAX 223s, and I went to the store. You couldn't find them.
Oh yeah.
You absolutely. And I was like, I'm just going to start reloading them. It's kind of when I got that batch of bad rounds was there right after COVID. You couldn't even buy reloading stuff because everybody was doing it. But I think that was kind of like the kickoff for a lot of people.
It was
reloading for themselves.
Yeah, it really was. And the bad thing about it was, you know, like whenever all that first happened, and you'd walk into Academy or Eastern, and all the ammo was off the shelves, you know, because it all got bought up, you know. Even
well,
boxes,
prior to that,
even boxes that had, you know, 7.62 by 54 that had dust on them, you know. People were buying it just because they didn't have nothing.
They had that damn Mosin and Gaunt that they never shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I may need some ammo for.
Still probably full of Cosmoline, you know.
Yeah.
But that did get a lot of people
but prior
into
to COVID, you could walk into Academy and there's a whole section of plenty of reloading stuff,
and it was cheap, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
And now
you used to buy 1,000 rounds of prime or 1,000 primers for like what, $60. Hell, at one time it was even cheaper, like $30.
When I first started about 12, 13 years ago doing all this, I'd go down to a little reloading shop there in Minden, Nevada, you know, because that was the closest place once you came out of California. And they were $23 per 1,000.
That place makes a killing right there, huh?
Dude, that place was great, man. You walk in and he had everything. You know, it looked like you know that one aisle of reloading stuff. That Eastern has.
Yep.
It was a whole store of that.
Right.
You know? So it was like kid in a candy shop.
Well,
for
you're
me.
just outside California.
Yeah, exactly. So.
What and then you was talking about price. Now, what was the price back then versus today's prices?
Man, like
it's $100 more, if not more.
You know,
$135 I saw for a box of 1,000 primers.
Yeah, so it was, you know, $23 for 1,000 small pistol primers.
Wow.
And it's, I think the most recent ones that I picked up, they were still about $85.
Yeah,
per 1,000.
I looked on Midway the other day when I was looking around, and when I was getting that new buffer, I was like, I wonder what price of primers are. And the small rifle CCI BR4 bench rush 4 is what I use, and it was $134.99, $139.99 for 1,000. Then you have to add, what's the hazmat charge?
Usually
$30,
25 to 30.
Yeah, I think I paid $35 for hazmat charge.
Yeah,
I think
pretty
from
ridiculous.
Natchez or something.
Yeah. I was down in Wilmington yesterday, and I swung into, every time I go, I stop down to Sportsman's Warehouse. And they had some BR4s there, man, and they actually had $9.99 on 100 of them. So
Eastern, I think is selling. They had some for $9.99.
Yeah, I mean that's a good sign, you know. If they're starting to come down in stores, you know. And I fought for a long time not trying to keep a ton on hand, because if they start lowering the price, and I marked them at whatever
you buy
based
high,
off the
you got
time.
store them at low.
Yeah, exactly. So
well, it's like, you know, anything else, you're hedging your bet that they're going to go up or down.
So
Sportsman's is they did, you know, after COVID, I was saying I was down to 3 VMAX. That's all I had. 3 VMAX hunt coyotes with, and went to that Sportsman in Wilmington, and it was literally behind the sign. I'm like, looking everywhere I went. I'm looking at 223 VMAX. Couldn't find them nowhere.
Yeah.
Not online, and just happened to be there one day, and it was actually behind like the sell sign. They were slid behind it, and my wife actually was like, "What are those ones?" And I lifted up the little paper, and there was like 6 boxes. I was like, I didn't even look at the price. I was just like, grabbed all 6 of them. I
so
mean,
that's why you keep Mary around, right?
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, I buy them when you get them.
Yeah, same thing.
Yep.
You know, Becky and I were in an academy, and they had a limit of 2 or 3 boxes per customer.
Yeah.
We don't know each other.
That's right.
We're a
Yeah.
separate customer. You're buying these.
Well,
right.
I mean, for the longest time too, man. You know, when Academy was still kind of getting them, but they were limited to 2 per customer, or even Eastern did it for a while. You know, you get 200 per customer, or 2 boxes per customer. I'd literally go up to people that are in the store and be like, "Hey, you need 2 of these? I'll throw you $5."
That's
you know?
right.
Yeah.
So you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Game to game.
Yeah, man.
You know. So, you know, getting back on topic and stuff, we talked about the 6 arc. You know, you helped me develop the load. We started with the 65 grain VMAX, and I dropped down to the 58 grain VMAX. Rolling back a little bit farther, you know, Timmy was asking, "Hey, what do you need to get in?" You said get a book. What I would recommend, if you're going to get in reloading, find a mentor to show you what to do.
Yes.
You know, you have no idea how, you know, Nate and the other Nate and Chad have been so beneficial for me to learn stuff. I'll call them up. I called you all the time. Hell, he came over and helped me set up my entire reloading press and get stuff done, you know, to make sure that I was set up and doing it correctly and having success. So if you can find a mentor, someone you can trust that's going to give you the right information, because you don't want to, you know, load of ammo, put it in there, and
tear a gun up.
Yeah.
Well, you know, at the worst, you're tearing the gun up.
Yeah.
Or at the best, you're tearing the gun up. At worst, you know, you're having a controlled explosion right in front of your face. You can lose an eye. You know, look at YouTube, some reloading accidents. You know,
It
guys
actually
are losing their
blew the
hands.
bottom of the magazine. Just splintered it. And,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it's physics, path of least resistance.
That's right.
That barrel's clogged. You know, the pressure's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's why you'll see too, like if you ever see a squib and then somebody fires it behind it with an AR, you know, it usually blows the mag out, blows the right where the barrel meets the upper receiver, all that'll blow apart, but the bolt will still be, usually it'll be locked into the barrel. And that's just one of those things. Even your I can't even think of the name of them, but if you look in most of the receivers, like bolt action rifles, they'll have holes drilled into it, and it's for, you know, escaping gas and instances like that, so you don't lose a finger from a hinged floor plate or something blowing out.
Yeah, I about lost my pinky on
Yeah,
the
man, it's you know, it's
and
scary.
I have that, and I still have that barrel, and something I probably need to talk to you about. Just maybe, I don't know, can they? I was told by, you know, Gorilla to, you know, probably have to have that barrel checked.
Yeah.
Because they don't know what happened inside.
Yeah. Get a bore scope and go through there and.
Is that something you can do?
Yeah, I could take a look at it
I'm
for
gonna
you,
have to
man.
take a look at that, because that thing's powder coated. It was tricked out. It was actually my daughter's rifle. I had completely powder coated, tricked out.
Yeah.
And now
I'll take a look
it's
at
in
it for you, man.
pieces.
Yeah, it's
But if the
heartbreaking
barrel's
almost,
still
isn't it?
good, I can put, you know,
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
Well, I mean, and two, the good thing about guns is barrels are relatively cheap. You know, even if the barrel is shot, a good gunsmith can spin you up a barrel in, you know, a day or something.
Yeah, but I mean, this was powder coated, Tiffany blue.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I got you.
That's why I want to save it. It's already been powder coated.
Put it together, put it on the wall, and it's a decorative piece. Yeah. So you recently built a 6 arc. So tell us about that.
So I was really impressed by that cartridge, man. You know, the work that we did with yours and the results that you produce on coyotes is pretty darn impressive. 6 mils have always been pretty darn awesome anyways. You know, 243, I've probably killed more deer with a 243 than any other rifle I own.
Yeah, it's a staple.
It really is, man. And then when we were shooting with yours, we got everything done, and then I went out to Alaska and Idaho. You know, I stayed about a week on the back end with my best friend out there, and he had a bolt action 6 arc that he had built, and we took it out with the Hornady factory match ammo. I got second round impacts on a 6-inch plate at 920 some odd yards.
Oh wow!
So like to me, if you can turn something inside out because your bullet's going 34, 50, right in that right around where you're at.
Yeah.
And you can spin them inside out and turn them into a black hole, or you can load a heavier one and shoot probably further than I got business shooting.
Yeah.
But I think that's just kind of a nice impressive round. So I wanted to go ahead. I just recently started building ARs for my company.
Okay.
Eventually the plan is to go to gunsmithing school, learn all those trades, and then make a business out of the reloading and the gunsmithing thing.
Yeah.
But I figure if I'm pretty tedious when it comes to things, I like adult coloring books. You kind of focus in, all the distractions go away. So I wanted to build a really cool 6-arc that could do just about everything. So I decided on the 21-inch Odin barrel with the gas block and their bolt and everything, and got it all built. It looks great. And went to slip the handguard on it before I left to go pick my son up for school, and the handguard's too slim. So now I got to order a new handguard. So.
Oh, that did the same thing to me. I waited. So I was building my arc during COVID. I was waiting for stuff. So it took my 5 months for my barrel to come in. I'm right-handed but left-eye dominant, so I shoot long guns left-handed. So I wanted a left-handed eject upper, so I had to wait for one of those to come in. I finally get all the parts in. I go and I have everything Cerakoted because I wanted the OD green and the blaze orange color scheme. And then I go to put the fucking handguard on, and it's the wrong handguard because I had that larger barrel nut for some reason. And I had to find, then that's another $250 and then another $100 to have it Cerakoted to match.
That's the stuff they don't tell you about when you're like, oh, I'm just going to build a couple rifles in my house.
I was going to go there. You hear a lot of guys, I'll just build me a coyote gun. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Now, can you build a cheap coyote gun?
You can, yeah. So I tell everybody when it comes to building your own, man, it's really the sum of parts,
Right.
Good barrel, good bolt.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can, you see some of these guys like, DNA.
$7,000.
Yeah. I mean, they're $5,000-$6,000 guns. I mean, now they're test proven.
Yeah.
They do everything for you,
Yep.
and they're well worth the money.
Yeah.
But guys see that price and they go, I'll build one. But to build that gun, that with those parts, you're probably $3,000 into it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But I think a lot of times what you're also paying that extra price
You're paying
is
for
their knowledge.
Exactly.
And their quality that they're putting in it. Because I know DNA, I go to them, hey, I want a bolt gun, 6-arc.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill coyotes. I want to run this bullet.
That's right.
He'll build it, turn around and give me the load data and say, here you
That's
go.
right.
And a lot of custom gunsmiths will do that.
Yeah.
Not just DNA. I forget the guy's name who runs it. But I mean, they make some badass, and you get a custom gun, 24-inch barrel, bolt action, everything, and it comes in at 8 pounds.
Yeah.
But I'm saying a lot of guys, they'll buck up on these high-end guns. But, I mean, really, if you're going to use quality parts, you're still going to spend, you're not going to build it for $800.
No.
No. So.
Well, I think, so when you're building a gun, it's kind of like all the extractor, the bolts, all that stuff is, the lower parts kits, they're all getting from the same manufacturer. These custom gun, Daniel Defense can't manufacture their own hammer spring. They're just not set up for it. So they'll contract that out or buy, outsource it. But where you need to spend your money is a barrel, the trigger, and if you're AR, bolt carrier group, if you're running a bolt action, the action.
Yeah.
That's where you really need to spend your money at. Because that's what I did. Excalibur barrel, relatively cheap, $450, 18 inches, custom built, whatever. I should have ordered 2 at the same time so it'd be done with the same reamer and be pretty close. $450. Geisley enhanced lower part kit, $70, $80.
Like that, yeah.
CMC trigger, $115, $125, not too expensive. And then the bolt, which I was stuck with Stag because I got a left-handed eject upper. So I got that bolt, and that was it. I mean, with your Odin, you got a timed headspace bolt carrier group with your barrel. I know Excalibur offers that as well. I'm sure other manufacturers do. I just, those are the ones I know off the top of my head.
And I still, I bought go no-go gauges to check everything just because the last thing you want to do is build this badass gun and it not work like it's intended to, you know?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So I made sure to do all, you know, check every box. That way it was solid before, you know, it ever went to be able to be sold or keep or whatever. So, but he hit it on the head, man. It's really, you can dream and it can look cool, you know, like the first one that I built was a 223, the 13.9 that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And I just kind of wanted to build something cool, man,
Yeah,
because
right.
you can go on Palmetto State and you can buy
An upper and a lower for $500 and have a complete AR.
exactly, you know, but at the end of the day, it's your cookie cutter, your 16-inch
right.
barrel, 15-inch handguard.
And not saying none of that won't kill coyotes.
Yeah.
You know, or deer.
Yeah.
But, you know, guys that are doing PSR stuff and, you know, guys that are taking long range night shots, you want to be accurate.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You know.
Well, I mean, I was having some issues with my arc and doing light striking, so I was like, you know, it's got to be the lower is going to be the issue. So I switched the lower from, you know, this custom, you know, my YouTube certified gunsmith that I put together and grabbed just my Colt LE 6920 mil spec upper or lower, threw it on there, and you go from that nice 3-pound trigger to a mil spec trigger.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh man, you will know a difference.
You know, man, you were talking about the CMC. A trigger that I found that I really like, and I'm starting to put them in all my ARs, is the LaRue MBTs.
Really?
Yeah, so they're
Single stage or two stage?
it's a 2-stage.
Okay.
They're like 97 bucks a piece or 99 bucks a piece if you buy them by one, but if you buy 3, they go down like 79.
Okay.
So I've been buying those and putting them in, man, and I tell you, for the money, the $79 compared to, you know, 100.
What's the poundage on those?
3 pounds.
Might be interesting.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I switched out. You know, I run a POF.
Yeah.
I took the factory trigger. I just didn't like the straight down.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never ran dual stage or 2-stage until I got that Rock River.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that 2-stage to me is just smooth.
It is, yeah.
It is. I've never been a real big fan of the 2 stages.
I've never
I've
shot one
always
until I
I've
got
always
it.
had the single stage.
Yeah.
But here in the other night when that one coyote was coming in
Yep.
and we were moving, I was trying to right on that edge.
Yep. Trying to
move, tracking. I'm thinking maybe a 2-stage would be better because I can take the slack out.
Yep.
I'm ready. Okay,
Right.
I know I'm at the
You're
wall.
at the wall.
All right, and then and I can come up and there and because when I put pressure on that 3-pound CMC, it's going to break.
Yep.
But so I don't want to negligent discharge, accidental discharge. I don't want to blow my wad too soon. With the coyote moving, hit a little far back or whatever. So I'm interested in looking at a 2-stage.
I don't know if you've pulled the trigger on the Rock River.
Yeah,
have you?
Yeah, it's smooth.
It is super smooth.
Yep.
And like I said, I've never messed with a 2-stage, so I'm really thinking about it. I'd like to get with you on that.
Yeah, man. Let me know.
We got to see if it fits the POF because I tried a CMC in the POF and it wouldn't fit.
Okay.
There's something in the receiver when you drop it in. It's got to have a certain. The CMCs wouldn't work.
Yeah, because they're a single, like a 1-piece unit. You just drop it in, right?
It's a drop
Yeah.
in, but there was something about the way that receiver's a notch in there or something that wouldn't fit. I ended up going with this other brand. I think it gets down to 3.5, but I'm gonna talk about that.
That sounds good, man.
You guys just watched him sell me or something.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious,
That
guys.
means we got to build 3 rifles.
Yeah.
I told you I can't have spare parts laying around. I'm gonna end up buying the other stuff to make another gun.
And that's the thing too, man, is like quality parts. I've used some really $240 Geisleys,
Right.
and $49 Aero Precision ones, and I'll tell you, for the money, for $80, that's the best trigger that I found.
It's cheaper than the ones I put in mine and my dad's POF. So
I can't tell much of a difference between a 240 and a 80. They're 80,
Yeah.
No, I mean it's definitely a fair price.
Yeah.
Same thing. Someone had a Trigger Tech Diamond Triple Black, whatever.
Yeah.
Their $300 AR trigger, and I had my $115 CMC. And his was 3 pounds. Mine's 3.5.
I don't
can't
really
tell
think
the
an average
difference.
person can tell the difference
Yeah.
between a half a pound either.
I'll tell you a story about that. Did you know Gunner Wade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Sure did.
Yeah, he did a lot before he retired. He was here a lot. He had I can't remember the caliber because he had all kinds of guns.
Oh yeah.
but it had like a half-pound trigger. And literally, he's like, listen, it's got a half-pound. I was like, all right, cool. I literally, not expecting it, because you just pull even on a 3-pound, you got to put a little on it. I laid down behind that thing, and literally, when I put my finger on that trigger, that son of a bitch went off. Mm-hmm. It scared the hell. He said, I told you.
Yeah.
Like, that was just dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm like, now that's probably, I don't know, your PRC guys that are, laying down, they know, but half-pound trigger guys is dangerous.
Well, I mean, if you're hunting too, man,
that's dangerous.
That's you could be walking and
that's right, hanging.
Your tripod could hit on it. You know, if that thing clicked off safe, man, just that little jar can make it go off.
For me personally, I don't want a trigger lighter than 3 pounds. I think 3 pounds is more than enough to get an accurate shot.
I think I'm going to go to the 2-stage because, like you were saying, I like that. That when we're getting ready to squeak or when we're in the count, go ahead and take it to the wall.
Yep.
And when we get that one, it's just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So
and I think that's what I really like about the 2-stage too is you can take up that first stage. Right. And you feel it, and like, okay, it ain't gonna take much for this second part, and it's going, So, whereas your
are you
single
seeing
stage,
a lot of that on the PSR gun guys, or is that
well, most of those guys are bolt gun guys. Some of them are running gases, but all of them run 2-stage triggers, man.
Okay. I know that's become a kind of a little community here with Alliance.
Yep. And man, those guys draw a crowd from.
Yeah, I heard they got a real good turnout up here. They just kind of, with the last year or so, they started Alliance, maybe 2 years.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, I think.
And they've been having some really good matches here. Guys coming from all over is what I'm hearing.
Well, you were talking about the guy from Michigan, man. Mm-hmm. There was a guy stopped in the shop one of the days I was in there, and he came down from Michigan to go shoot those tournaments.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
people spend a lot of money going to these PRS matches.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to get into it. I'm not that
chance. No. No.
Yeah.
No.
I want to do that. I'm thinking about dipping my toe in it and doing the 22 long rifle.
Yeah.
First off, we kind of hunt too much, and 2, your wife's not going to allow that.
Yeah. Hey, look, I wear the pants of my family.
No. Let me tell you something. I've been with you long enough. No.
I got too much stuff going on.
It's not that we spend enough money on coyote hunting.
Yeah, right.
But
I know a lot of guys are getting into those with the NRL 22s because they'll spend a ton of money on a 22. I didn't know, had no idea, man. But some of those guys are pushing. Price tags on like custom built match guns and stuff.
Have we told the story about the chronograph yet? Not on this episode or on any others.
No, I don't think so.
We were just talking about that.
I don't know if we've told this story.
I mean, if we get back on target, on our podcast, for reloading, one thing that is a useful tool to have when you're loading your own ammo is a chronograph.
Right, and not your buddies.
Yeah, not your buddies. Because you need to know how fast you're going, that velocity. So it's going to factor into your muzzle velocity. It will help with your dope, your pressure signs that you'll see when you're looking at ammo, which we probably need to talk about is, looking at pressure signs and stuff. So Timmy had a chronograph, digital Bluetooth, pretty nice.
Well, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Nate had one. He upgraded the Lab Radar, or whatever it is. And so I bought his old Caldwell G2 Precision from him. And I'm trying to load up my own ammo, be a self-sufficient man, load my own ammo, get it out there, I shoot. And I want to see if there's a difference between Timmy's chronograph and the one I got from Nate. So I have them lined up back to back. I shoot. Okay, I get a reading. Timmy's talks to me on my phone, tells me, hey, 3350 or whatever it was. I look at the other one from I got from Nate. Look well. So I shoot again. It doesn't register. I was like, God damn it, what happened? So do it again. Shoot, nothing. And I look. I'm using a thermal to do my load development. I don't like switching scopes. The thermal scope will be on the gun I'm using. And I pull my head up to see what's going on, and I just see 2 chronographs completely blown apart.
The center's knocked out of them.
Center's knocked out of them. Batteries going everywhere. So I put 2 rounds, maybe 3 rounds through both chronographs. So I called Timmy. Hey,
No, you text me
Yeah, I texted
a picture of it, and at first I just like saw the chrono, didn't even notice it was blown, it had a hole through it.
Yeah.
I thought he was trying to show me his speeds.
Yeah. So yeah, I text Timmy a picture of it. I said, I owe you a chronograph. Got on Midway, ordered him a new one, had it shipped to my house, doing some more load. I was like, you know what? I'll just go ahead and set it up and use it, get all set up, and I'm about shooting my second string on this ladder test that I'm doing. And then as I shoot, I just see stuff explode. God damn it. Look again, sure enough, shot my third chronograph. So didn't even tell Timmy. I just ordered a new one, had it sent to the house, and it is sitting brand new back. It's still in the box from Midway underneath my reloading bench. I am scared to take it out. I even told Nate about it. He goes, hey man, I'll let you use my lab radar, but I'm going to be there to help you set up.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the reason why I went to the lab radar is so you can't shoot it.
Yeah, and let's talk about that. That kind of sits off to the side.
Yep.
Now tell us more about that.
So-
Versus the Codwell one
Yeah.
that we were using.
Nothing wrong with the opticals, man. They work really well. I mean, that one day we were doing some stuff over here. We had nut to butt behind each other, and yours was what 25 feet per second faster or so, and mine was nut to butt behind it.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave me like, okay, well, how accurate is this thing?
Right.
So, you know, I'm a firm believer in you buy once, cry once.
That's right.
So I dropped $800 on the lab radar, but man, it's a great piece of gear. You know, it's Doppler radar. So you put it next to your gun. And when the gun fires, that's what turns the trigger source on, and it actually tracks your bullet for the entire flight, path of flight. So it can, when you get it all dialed in, the hardest thing with it is shooting suppressed and getting it to pick up suppressed.
Right. Okay.
But I bought a little microphone that kind of, when you get mic'd up,
Yep.
hangs off to the side, and it's helped eliminate like the 300 blackout subsonic that's really, really quiet and
Yeah.
usually doesn't pick up. But I tell you, man, that tool is invaluable.
Now, how far out can you track that round to get, and you're tracking that round to, let's just say 200 to get that speed at 200, right?
Yep. So you can set any distance, and the further away it is, the less accurate it's going to be. Because if you're trying to put it out at 500 yards, well, $800, man, and it comes with the worst sighting unit. It's like literally a little notch. And I was reading up on forums and everything. They're like, oh yeah, you cut a McDonald's straw. I'm like,
Okay.
$800,
Yeah,
and I got to
I
use a
want
damn McDonald's straw to get it to work right. But either way, I mean,
But let's
it's
just say 200, which is what kind of where we want to be. Max, we want to max about 300, but for coyote hunters, using that technology to say at 200 your feet per second of impact is this.
And that's the cool thing about it too is you can set your yardages. So if you do 200 yards, you can set it to go. It's in increments of 11. So you do 22 yards, 44 yards, all the way out to 200, and it'll tell you at each of those distances what your actual speed is. Yeah, per shot.
Okay.
And the cool thing is once you do the string of fire and you finish it, it can actually tell you like your true ballistic coefficient of your bullet.
Right.
It'll give you, your power factor for the guys that shoot competitively. That's a big thing for them.
Okay.
So, I mean, it really, not that the optical ones that you shoot through aren't any good. It's just, it doesn't have those features.
Right.
And I think that lab radar is good to it's accurate to 2 feet per second.
Wow.
So, I mean,
What else does it do? I mean, okay.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
It does your velocities and everything for you, and gives you all the stuff that if you use a ballistic calculator, you can plug into there and really get, true.
Is it
bullet
app
drop.
based or
It's not.
computer? And
Yeah,
plug
so
a
you,
computer into it.
yeah, you
USB?
plug it's got an SD card.
Okay.
You download it all off of, and you can pull up everything on spreadsheets and whatnot.
Okay.
And it's pretty. I've been pretty impressed with it, man. I play with it more and more every time
I'd like
I go
to try
out.
that. We need to try that. Just for my own knowledge, what is
Yeah.
my feet per second at 200?
Yeah. So, and the good thing is, I mean, you can't shoot it. You can. You just have-
We were talking about the lab radar and how far, tracks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think for myself and probably Chance and guys listening, coyote hunters, we're shooting no more than 250. That would be a helpful tool just for your own knowledge of knowing what feet per second you're at 200 versus at the barrel.
Yeah, definitely.
just to know your impact at the dog, to see what kind of feet per second that dog is taking.
Yeah, well, a lot of that's going to come into play where that factors is knowing your range. Like if you buy a box of factory ammo, it's going to tell you, hey, at 100 yards you're running this, but that's out of that test barrel.
Right.
That's not out of your gun, your setup, the location you're shooting at. So that's going to come into, you'll need a ballistic calculator to do it, but your max point blank range, what I've talked about before, is, so your dope, how far your bullet's going to drop, your trajectory. And this is where coming up with hand loads where you're controlling all those components and everything going into it. That way, hey, I could buy factory ammo. It may have an standard extreme spread of 200 feet per second in there, but the standard deviation could be 80 feet per second. Now, how does that play down range? Well, instead of being, I sight in at 100 and I'm dead on, but at 200 I'm supposed to be 2 inches low, but now I'm 100 feet less per second, I'm 3 inches low. Now that's missing an animal.
Yep.
Depending on what you're shooting at, and the farther you go out,
right,
the more drastic that gets.
Now, a lot of that has to do with your grain, right?
Yeah, the powder charge that you're running in
my
there.
My 95s are going to stay better flight versus 140 at 200 or 300 yards, right?
Yeah, the heavier bullet will
it's going to drop
off
faster.
Yeah, drop off faster.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's where
So shooting the lighter bullets for coyote hunting.
Yeah, I mean, for the ranges y'all shoot dogs at, man. I mean,
you feel lighter bullets would be
because
beneficial.
the thing, the 58s and the 95s, that's a relatively light bullet for those, 6.5 Creedmoor, man. 45, 48 grains of powder. That's pushing, that's cooking,
Oh yeah.
And you want that thing to hit and dump all its energy.
That's right.
It's not, you don't want it to carry. You're not worried about its flight of path behind the dog.
No, because
nobody cares about that. So.
Them V Maxes, guys, we talked about this before. On impact, they're doing work.
Yep.
I mean, when they touch hair, they are doing work.
Yep.
I know this because I shot a rabbit with it one day on the range, and it vaporized that rabbit. And you know how soft the rabbit is. We talked about this on one of the other things, and and if you listen to Hornady's podcast, they talk. I think it's episode 56 or something, 55,
about the VMAX,
where how they developed it, what it does at quarter inch of impact, it immediately expands.
Yeah,
and where they talk about some of your the 120s, 140s, they're built for bigger animals, so they're not expanding for 4 to 5, 6, 7 inches. Well, with a coyote,
that's the other side of a coyote.
They're saying all your energy, all your expansion is already in the dirt.
Yeah.
So that's where your VMAX tips and those ballistic tips are really beneficial.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Nate, I want a laser beam and a hand grenade. That's what I wanted, and I wasn't worried about barrel life because barrels are consumables now.
Yep.
I don't care if I get 1,000 rounds out of it. I'll just get a new barrel.
Well, if we shoot coyotes like we did that one night, it won't take us long to get a new barrel.
That the one that's 20-some shots?
26. So
it's like that sometimes,
That's right.
Hey, we hit them multiple times. It just took
Yeah.
26 to kill them.
Exactly. See?
But guys, just the point of that is, look at your lighter rounds, what your gun is performing with best.
Yep.
And again, one animal for coyote guys listening. The lighter rounds, you're down to 50s,
58s. But that's personal choice.
Right.
There's some 65s. I just didn't like the performance that was happening on the animals. Some other guys were having luck with it. Other guys were having a similar issue. We had an issue where
the bullets were different.
The bullets were different.
Yeah.
Same lot number, but I take I take 10 rounds he'd give me that he loaded all to specs and shoot them, and I'm shooting sub MOA. I take another 10 rounds that were made with a different box of bullets, and it was a shotgun pattern downrange.
Yep.
I couldn't get them to group, and then you look at
same bullet, same grain weight, same
supposedly,
model number and everything.
Yeah.
Because I mic'd them too, and they changed the ogive. So the part of the bullet where it contacts the lands and the grooves is your ogive, and that part they I guess changed the design and made it from one design to another or something. But I was loading up for him one day, and I finished off one box and I opened the other one. I didn't think about it.
Right.
65 grain VMAX 6mm, 65 grain VMAX 6mm.
Right.
So I seeded it, and when it came out, I was looking at it. I'm like, that doesn't look right,
Yeah.
So I pulled out the calibers for the other ones I'd done, and sure shit, man, it was, they had changed the design on it. So I, tried the two different bullets, man, completely different datum lines and everything on it.
It goes back to, this is some science here.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're doing, because if you don't do it right, you're not paying attention, you're going to have a catastrophic failure, or you're just not going to be able, you're not going to keep the groups you want.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, for me, the speed kills when it comes to the Predator game.
Yep.
I like to load that 3,000 feet per second. When I 223 55 grain VMAX, I wanted 3,000 feet per second.
Yeah.
Just because it helped my max point blank range. I do 50 yard zero, and with that max point blank range on 223 55 grain VMAX, 50 yard zero, I was good to about 270 yards with the 5-inch vitals on. So I can aim on fur out to 270 yards and be fine. With the 6 arc, why I switched is I wanted to extend that, because we had a couple of fields that are 300, 400, 500 yards, and sometimes they hung up, and for me 300 yards at night is my limit, is what I want to shoot. Now, not to say I've got a good night, good thermal night, that coyote's at 400 yards, I'll probably send it, especially with that 58
the other
grain
night, you
VMAX.
said it
Yeah.
at 3 something.
Yeah, 313.
313.
But yeah, that's where knowing your velocity will help you with your dope. So where you're setting in, not just for the night hunting guys, but for the day hunters as well. Especially these thermals are coming out with updates on their firmware, where now it's like a bullet drop compensator reticle, where you're able to, okay, hey, that first hash mark, stadia line, whatever you want to call it, hey, that with you plug it in the ballistic calculator, 50 yard zero, 58 grain VMAX, 3450 feet per second. It's going to say, okay, that first mark is going to be, at 50 yard zero dead center. Next mark will be 175. Next, third mark or second mark down will be 210 or whatever it is. You can plug it in that way, but you've got to have that information. And having a lab radar or
And somebody
optical
that knows
chronograph.
what they're doing, like Nate,
Yeah.
to help you with that.
Yeah. Well, don't ask me to set up your chronograph, because you'll shoot it.
If you like your chronograph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot, Nate.
Yeah, sure did, man.
Let's talk about your night hunt you got to go on. We took you on. How
Yeah,
was
man.
that to you?
That was pretty awesome, man.
Pretty good time?
My only going out with you guys, man, my only time ever going was when I was out in California.
Okay.
A buddy of mine, he was a civilian that worked in the rope room where they'd issue all your mountain gear at. And he's like, hey, man, you want to go coyote hunting? Sure, man. Daytime, he's got like a 7 mag. I was like, what are you going to do if you shoot that thing? He's like, I don't know, pick up the pieces, I guess. But we went out, man. He had an old Fox Pro we threw out there, and called for probably an hour and a half or so. Didn't see nothing, so we packed it up. Did a little shooting as we were walking down back to where the truck was at. But
Well, we got to take Nate out week before.
Yeah, last week.
And we did 3 sets to start with, and we didn't have nothing. Did we have a howl or anything? I can't remember if we had any howls on those.
No,
first.
the first 2, no howls.
Then we moved to we got them to howl on the third set.
Third set. Well, we got them howled, and we had some assholes.
Yeah,
spotlight
the
with
field.
the spotlight coming through the field.
And there's a good point, guys. Just because somebody does come through your field doesn't mean you can't kill a coyote.
Yeah.
Those coyotes, that's part of their environment.
They're used to it.
And especially out there, because we've been out there a couple of times and
Same guys
Yeah, same
out there
guys spotlighting the
spotlighting.
same field, looking for their dogs. But we heard some howls, and I think we were about to call it a night. It just wasn't producing.
We heard
Then
the
we heard
howls,
the-
and
heard the
They
one.
lit off. So I told Chance, I said, hey, let's just pack up, go. And now we're in the same field, probably
We went about
800 yards.
500,
Well, I'm saying that wood line,
Oh, yeah,
800,
800-ish.
yeah, 800.
where they were howling from. And I said, hey, let's just pack up. Let's just drive up, get on the road, just step out the caddy. Let's just give them a try. And those guys have just left. And we did that. Stepped out, set up on the side of the truck or the caddy. I don't remember what you hit.
I hit a lone female howl, and
this thing pops
Like-
up right in the middle of the
Yep.
field on us.
yeah, I hit a lone female howl and just went quiet for a little bit, and within
It wasn't
probably
long.
20 seconds, maybe a minute at the most.
You spotted it?
Yeah, I spotted the coyote bounding over as a cut cornfield. I was like, called it out. Hey, 11 o'clock from the call, and got him on it.
Got on it.
Yeah.
Nate got to see a dog drop.
Yep.
It was a damn. It ended up being
185,
Yeah,
187
yeah, it was
yards.
good ways,
Yeah.
it was a good clip, but
Yeah, my wife was like, "Well, how'd you know you shot him?" Like, it was team effort. Dude.
that's right. Hey, that's it, man.
Yep.
I might hit the dirt, but you can't prove that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care what the video says.
There's something dead laying there when we're all
That's
done.
right.
That's what matters.
That's right. The one with the one we killed over here the other night, I didn't shoot on the count. Chance and Eric did, and they set it just over top of. But you see both impacts on the backside, so I was like, you both missed.
Yeah.
I saw 2 impacts in the dirt.
Yeah, we also know he missed when the motherfucker took off running.
Yeah, well, that too. That was
Yeah.
an indicator that he
Yeah.
was missed, but we ended up getting him.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you enjoyed yourself. It's a total different experience, and I think Nate's already looking at some thermals.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're creating junkies out here, man.
We
It's-
are.
Hey man, there's worse. Could
You're-
spend money on drugs.
That's
you know?
right.
I'd rather
I've said that
doing some fun
I
stuff.
told my wife that for years. It could be strippers and cocaine.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
hey, I can sell all this gear when I get tired of it.
Yep.
But it's a good time. For us, you're retired. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
Us daytime guys, it's got to go work for a living. That gives us our hobby at night
Oh, yeah.
to go out for a couple hours and.
Well, I mean,
enjoy
even
it.
I was down at the shop when you hit me up.
Yeah.
Man, It's nice to break away and do something
That's
other
right.
than the average grind.
Yeah.
Every single day and every single night. So you guys said you had a seat open in a caddy. I was like, I'm coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it's always enjoyable to get someone out, someone
That's
new,
Oh,
and,
yeah,
and to
definitely,
share what we do. That's why we do the podcast. That's why we we
Yeah.
take people hunting.
We
is
take a
to
lot
share.
of people hunting
Yeah.
and just like yourself, get them out there, experience, and it may not be for that person. I mean, I don't think I've met anybody yet we haven't took that ain't really got in the game, which has
Yeah.
been excited about it. But
I'm a firm believer, man, that if you're a hunter, you like hunting. Doesn't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you're a fisherman, you like fishing.
that's right. That's right.
So,
yeah, if you're going to fish for redfish or you're going to fish for trout, fishing's fishing.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you're saying, hunting is hunting.
Yep.
We do it. One, it's fun as hell to us.
Oh, yeah.
We love to get the howls. We love to call that trick that coyote to
Yep.
come to us.
Yeah.
But also we do it as a management side of reducing the predator population in eastern North Carolina, which is just exploding with coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the game here is really taking off with thermals and calls and guys getting into it.
That's all,
So-
man. I tell you, that stuff's incredible too, man. The Marine Corps, I remember the first thermal scope I got. It was, circa 2002, 2003, and it was this big giant
Yeah.
thing that came in a suitcase. And when you
Yeah.
put your eye up to it, this big old giant fan turned on. Your batteries, the big old radio batteries,
Right.
lasted about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
The
And
thing
it's-
added 20 pounds
Oh,
to
it
your
was-
fucking weapon.
But we were playing with that IRA over there. I'm like, that's pretty darn impressive, man. That this technology is that small now.
and, even in the last, say, chance 5-6 years. I mean, I started in 2018 with thermal,
Yeah.
and again,
Yeah, I was
I didn't know
19.
nothing about thermals. I went with what I was Gunner Wade, Trijicon, best, and of course,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's what we went with. But now do IRA, Pulsar.
AGM.
AGM. Price wise, that stuff has dropped. I know Trigicon's still up there, Envision's up there. Great scopes, great clarity. And I'm going to argue IRA is competing with those images. I'm not going to say 100%, by no means, but price versus what you get.
Yeah.
The Pulsars, the IRAs are just, you're getting video, audio,
Yeah,
a
well,
lot
I'll tell
of
you-
stuff.
I'll tell you this too, man. Just playing with that for the little bit we were out there playing with it, man. The Trijicon that I was using on your gun, it
Yeah.
had so many knobs and everything
Yeah.
on it. I was like, I didn't want to mess with anything except for nuking it
That's
whenever I
right.
needed to, because I don't want to screw nothing up,
But
It's competition breeds innovation.
That's
Yeah,
right.
oh, yeah.
And who does that benefit? The consumer.
That's right.
So iRay coming onto the market has really pushed a lot of those, and with their warranty, Envision was one who had a 5-year warranty,
Right.
but I don't know if they recently switched, but iRay's big thing was their 5-year warranty.
That's right.
Well, AGM just switched to a 5-year warranty.
Is it Pulsar 5 or
No,
they're
Pulsar's
not?
3.
Okay.
I think a lot of people are going to switch to a 5-year warranty because the
It's
technology is
electronic.
there. Yeah, it's electronic. And there's a new company out, RIX, R-I-X.
Okay.
They come out, and I think it's a 5-year warranty on a thing, but it's a 10-year warranty on the sensor.
Wow.
So 10 years. I mean, and just like you started in 2018, now it's 2023. So in 5 years, look where we've come from, and the price of thermals have dropped significantly. 2002, you couldn't touch a thermal for less than $50,000, $50,000.
Yep.
Now for $20,000, $18,000, it's the iRay
1280.
RH75.
Yeah.
1280.
1280.
Pulsar just come out with their 1280 or 1240 binos,
Really?
or biocular thermal bioculars, that are 1280, 1240, whatever they are. So they're reaching there.
Yeah.
ATN, they've got a 1240 scope, 1280 scope out as well.
They just came out. One of the guys came into the shop. They came out with the Thor 5 or something.
Thor 5.
That's
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten to look through one yet. I know I took a guy, went out with a guy the other night. He had a Thor 4, and I wanted to look through it, and I just didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I got Thor. That was my first thermal scope I got in 2019.
Is that
2019, 2020. ATN Thor. It was the Thor HD. It was a little older, but still what I thought was going to be a good scope because I'd only looked through a FLIR and a FLIR, and what was the other one? I don't remember the other one. ATM, but it had all the bells and whistles, all these different stuff. The recoil shot activation,
which I like. ATM is
audio,
nailed it with
video,
that. Yeah.
all the stuff, and it worked. And then when it stopped working, I contacted the manufacturer. Couldn't get anything through the manufacturer. I contacted some of the reps on Facebook. Talked to them for about 2 or 3 days. They said, do this, do that. I did it all. Hey, still having the issue. It's not holding zero.
Mm-hmm.
It's Loctited. It's torqued to your specs. All this stuff. I'm taking another gun, put it on another gun, having the same issue.
Right.
Put another thermal on this gun, no issues whatsoever. And then they just quit responding.
Yeah. And that's the thing with ATN is I've always heard is their customer service.
Yeah.
And guys, if you're looking at thermals, that's what you got to look for. Customer service to me is number one. Because in 3 to 4 years, that's a computer, and it goes out. You might spend a little bit more today, but in 4 years, if it has to be replaced, that couple dollars is well worth it. My hunters, my scopes I run on the guns, to recore those when they finally go out, $4,600. I'm still getting the same housing, same 2018.
Just new shit inside of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, but I'm going to get a 3-year warranty.
Yeah.
I could take that $4,600 and go to iRay or Pulsar and get, or maybe not Pulsar, but iRay and get a 5-year warranty.
Yeah.
So those are the things you got to look at, guys. I mean, we could talk thermals all night long. I think we'll just sign off and tell everybody what you're selling, what your products are, and where they can find you at.
Okay. So basically, I do reloading supplies, ammo. One of my big things is on-site loading, so I can go just about anywhere where there's a range, bring everything to you. I upgraded trucks a while back ago, so I got a plug-in on the inside. I can literally run the powder trickler out there too, which is nice. So do that for people. That's a service I offer.
You're gonna bring the lab radar out.
Everything, man. Lab
Load 'em
radar.
up
I got a press on a stand
That's
that I
right.
can throw anywhere I need to go.
So you can do a load development for them right on site.
Right there, man.
Good.
So
Well, that's awesome because there are some guys online who do, offer a similar service that you do, but what you're doing is you're telling them what you want. They load the ammo, send it to you.
Right.
You got to pay the hazmat shipping fee. That's $20 to $35, and then you shoot it and you send them the data and everything back to them, and then they'll develop the load again. changing your seating depth, the charge, bumping the shoulder back, whatever they need to do to help get you accurate. And you're doing this every time, and it's 10 rounds at a time. With Nate, he can come out to your range and do it all there in one day. And that's what we did here. He came out and we loaded 65 grain, 75 grain, 87 grain VMAX for the 6-art, different load charges. We came back, hey, this is where our node is. This is where you're getting the most accuracy. We're going to focus on this grain charge and these 65 grain VMAXs because that's what you want. And he loaded it to me, said, and I went by your house, dropped them off. You loaded them up, came back. Hey, this is what I want. All right, cool. And then we settled up.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to cut you off, but I mean that's just a benefit because if you look, I can do it online. Well, you're paying shipping, you're paying the hazmat fee, and it's 10 rounds at a time. When Nate can come to you and get you done in the afternoon versus a couple of weeks.
Yep. And I mean, that's truly, as far as I know, man, I don't know if there's anybody around that offers that service.
Not here. Yeah. It's all online.
Yeah.
And
so
Copper Creek or Copper Creek Custom.
Yeah.
That's the one I know does it. Ally Munitions. He had talked about doing something like that. I don't know if he ever did or not. But Copper Creek and Ally, they're both based in Texas.
Yeah.
So you're here in ENC and you do a lot of traveling with the gun shows.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I travel with gun shows. I work at my buddy's shop twice a week, JB Armament down in New Bern. That's where I stock all my supplies and stuff at there, and then work from home building ARs. I do have an 07 FFL, so I manufacture firearms and ammunition.
So are you building to sell?
Yeah, sure am. Yep.
You get
pretty cool, man. I got strip lowers with my logo engraved.
I was about to say, you're gonna have your own name.
Oh yeah, they're pretty slick, man.
So guys looking for some custom builds.
Yep.
Custom loads. Nate's the guy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So where can they find you at and look you up? Contact
Facebook.
you?
Facebook. I got a website, but I was an infantry marine, so I'm not very smart when it comes to that stuff.
So Facebook's probably the best place.
Yeah, Facebook. Or swing into the shop one day that I'm there.
Well, guys that are not around here, look you up on Facebook. What are you, Loaded Gunny?
Yep, the Loaded Gunny.
JB Armament.
Yep,
is where
is
you're
my
out
buddy's
of.
shop.
If you guys are New Bern, Jacksonville.
He does traveling all over the state of North Carolina, even Virginia. You want?
No, just for gun shows, we're just North Carolina. Just Six Shooters Gun Show is the
Six Shooters
the
Gun
promoters.
Show. Those shows this weekend in Charlotte, whatever.
Yeah, it got canceled.
It got canceled.
I'm not really sure why, but we'll be back next weekend. So
yeah. Okay. So if y'all, if you not local to ENC, it's too far a drive for you to come to New Bern area. Look out for the Six Shooter Gun Shows, and go by their table and let them hook up. Y'all there every weekend.
And y'all know me; I'm pretty easygoing, man. I'm
absolutely.
not one of those I'm not a businessman. I'm just a dude that's enjoys doing this stuff.
And that's it, man. This has been your passion is reloading, and you've been doing it some time. So anybody interested in that, custom guns, maybe you can get some coyote kills with your guns.
Oh yeah,
that'd be cool.
That'd be slick.
So look him up. Chance, you got anything?
Guys, thanks for everything, all the support and reaching out for us. It helps grow the channel. We do, as the channel grows and we hit certain milestones and followers and stuff, I do want to start giving some stuff away, some only yoke swag, some Praying on Predator swag. We'll get some Loaded Gunny swag, yoke ropes, hand drags, lanyards, stuff like that, and start giving away. Generate more interest in it. I do have a couple of new designs of shirts that I'll be putting out on social media to gauge interest for it. But again, thanks for all the support and all the engagement. It really does drive us and keep us going. Apologize, it's been a while since we put out episodes. Life has just been busy and haven't had the time to come over and sit down and get stuff done. Plus, it was fucking hot. Yeah. We were not hunting for a while. I mean, we went out one night and it was 90 degrees. We had pterodactyl fucking mosquitoes around. It was not.
Well, the weather's changing, so it's a good thing.
Hey, it's October, fall. It's fall, y'all.
That night, you and Rick went out, man. I thought some of those mosquitoes were going to carry us off too.
Yeah,
man.
I did take Nate. Well, one time before,
and
we didn't. I don't think we saw anything.
Saw a couple of deer over there.
Yeah,
that was it, though.
But Nate, thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me, man.
Spreading some knowledge. This is what it's about for us.
Yeah.
We're again, no secrets with us, man. There's guys in this game that hoard everything and gatekeep it. Why?
Yeah.
I want if you want to get in the game, I want to make you better because again, the management part of it, the more dogs we're knocking down, the better our natural wildlife is.
Okay.
You know, our rabbits, our quail, or you know, birds and turkeys. So
Yeah.
And I'll say this too, is kind of a parting shot, man.
Yeah.
If we don't have interest in this stuff and try and spread it to other people, you know, especially younger people too,
That's
man.
right.
Like my son, this is his first year that he wants to go deer hunting. That he's really like showed interest in it. So this year, he's gonna play hooky from school, and we're gonna go up to West Virginia and
you go.
know do the whole thing. But you gotta, with everybody being attached to their phones now, you kind of gotta breed that with the new generation. That way they're
well,
kind of
if we don't pass it on, it gets
dies.
lost.
exactly.
You
Yep.
know, so.
You know, one of my fondest memories is when my dad took me out of school. We
That's
went
right.
hunting,
Yeah.
and we went pheasant hunting. It's, you know, he's gone now, so
Yeah.
you know that's one that got me started hunting. You know, developed my love for the outdoors.
That's right.
You know, so I'm glad to hear that you're doing it with your son.
Oh,
He
yeah.
loves it. And again, Nate, hey, you want to come out to my place? I got a small property. You bring you and son. You come out and
Cool,
deer
man.
hunt.
Just-
kill whatever you want.
Yeah.
Don't bring your chronograph.
Yeah.
Hey, chronograph
If I see a deer, I'll go put a
24/7.
chronograph by it.
Yeah, that'll make sure I hit it.
Well, guys, thank you guys. We're going to sign off of here.
All right. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Call me a coward on full moon nights. Call me a coward with those pub screen fights. Hey, Fox Pro, call me. Call me a coward on distress KG. Call me a coward with X360. Hey, Fox Pro, call me. Hey, Fox Pro, call me. I said, hey, Fox Pro, call me.